Hello, 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 my gorgeous Insta fam. Awesome, dancing with me. Is it Sushmita? That is lovely. Yes, all of you should do that. When you come for my session, wake yourself up, wake your energy up just by joining me in the dance. Okay, so for all of you who did dance, fabulous. आपको देखते ही गजब की एनर्जी आ जाती है. So sweet. God bless you. All right, we have questions already starting to come in. I just want to welcome a few of you here. Vandana Jain, Archana, Aarti, Jyoti, Ranga, Fighter Girl is saying, please take my name. 23 Fighter Girl, I've taken your name. Man Living Sarkar, Gayatri Gayu. Sometimes I feel very low. I'm working from home and I have a toddler which is 1 year old. I feel I have no interest in anything. You know what? Often when we don't know where our life is going and there's nothing exciting in the future, we start to get a little disoriented, and that leads us to start to feel low or sad or depressed. I feel like each one of us needs to have something to look forward to every morning. So if you don't have that, create it. Sometimes I like to artificially create it. Sometimes I genuinely have something to look forward to. So look at where your life is and what would excite you. For me, like, travel really excites me. So if I know where I'm going next, if I know what I want to wear there, if I've already started to plan how I want to look. Currently for me, my 25th anniversary is going to be coming in the next 6 months. I have an event in Mumbai which is going to be a huge event. So looking forward to that. I have a trip planned abroad. I am going to be meeting my children over New Year's. So can you see how I'm continuously having milestones to be excited about? Otherwise, I can tell you, when we, like, especially the amount of work we'll end up doing, and if you are also working from home has depression built within it. Okay, when we, like, I work from home, and I can tell you there are days when I've not sat in the car for a week because I had nowhere to go. And I can feel that, you know, by Sunday I'll be telling Puneet, mujhe kahin bhi le jao. So Gayatri, because you have a 1 year old, so you're already tied down because of the baby. Then you're working from home, you're tied down there also. So it's like both your hands are tied. So I need you to figure out what are the things you love doing that you can start to introduce, especially ways that you can step out of the house. Otherwise, depression is only a matter of time. You know how many people abroad, in India at least our houses have many people. I live in a joint family of 13 people, but a lot of houses have nobody. So if you and your toddler are going to be all alone the whole week with nowhere and no adult communication apart from your spouse that comes back home, sweetheart, it is a recipe for disaster, hai na? So tell me in the chat box, what are those things in your life that you can build excitement around? Is there a holiday you can plan? Is there something that you've been wanting to buy? Is there anything that you can do? Maybe you can go for a movie. Maybe you can ask your mother or mother-in-law to babysit your baby, and you can go to the saloon. I want you to look at what are those sweet, small things that you can add to your week, to your month, to your year, that will uplift your energy to start to feel enthusiastic about life again. I think for all of us in this room, if you are feeling low, sad, depressed, it's a beautiful question to ask yourself, how can I build some sort of excitement in my life? Yeah? Savana to every single one of you who's saying Savana. Thank you God 143. कैसे हो पूजा दी? Love you. कुछ अच्छा सुनने का मन कर रहा है and something motivating in a stressed day out of job. Please say something. God bless you. And you know what? कुछ अच्छा सुनने को क्यों कुछ? पूरा 1 घंटा अच्छा सुनने को मिलेगा, sweetheart. Oh, thank you, Naina. So sweet. Puja Chaudhary, how to stay motivated or be consistent and committed on a decision taken. So Puja, I think the most important thing to understand is that life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Okay, so there is going to be the different seasons, and every season has its own energy. Okay, so if you are trying to build your commitment muscle, one of the things I say is start to keep a habit tracker. So let's say you have taken a decision to, I'm taking an example, lose weight. Okay, so you put lose weight, and then what all do you need to do every day to lose weight? Okay, so the decision taken is to lose weight. Now you shouldn't eat sweet. Ideally, you should have eight glasses of water. Avoid fried food. Take a protein shake if possible. I'm not recommending any of this. I'm just saying that if I had to generally think of what are the things people do when they're trying to lose weight, yeah? So let's say you keep 5 new habits around this losing weight. Now, maybe 3 days when you start out, you'll do a fabulous job. And by the 4th day, you will start to lose that commitment or that thing because let's say your yummiest favorite ice cream came in front of you. Ab kya kare? Right? So one of the things I do is every morning I realign my goal to my visual and all my senses. So if I want to lose weight, I'm going to sit and literally imagine myself. It's my 25th anniversary. I'm wearing a gorgeous black sari. I'm looking super slim and thin. Every person who's coming for my party is saying, oh my God, Puja, you're looking so fabulous, so gorgeous. And then from that place, when I anchor that visual, I say, what do I need to be for that to come true? And I reconnect on a daily basis with that vision of mine so that when that chocolate cake comes, I can just close my eyes, visualize that image of mine and be so strongly attached to that vision that this vision of the cake is not able to overpower me. Yeah? So when you're trying to be consistent or committed, it's every single day aligning yourself to those 1, 2 or 3 highest goals of your life, where you have to have a very clear vision of where you're going so that nobody and nothing should be able to deter you. Okay? So look at building your commitment. And you know what? In case, worst case scenario, you land up breaking something. You land up eating the chocolate cake. My suggestion, the next day, write out a whole paper. Don't just do it in your imagination, do it on paper as to why this goal is important to you. The more strongly you know your why, the more the chances of you staying committed and consistent. Yeah? So use all of this and see where it goes. Ranjita, how to be an impactful person, Puja? So Ranjita, in my experience of life, one of the ways that I have felt that somebody can be impactful is when you speak less, but you speak sense. What do I mean when I say this? You know, the more you build trust in your own words, the more your words carry the power of transformation. So let me give you an example. Let's say I'm someone who casually says, मैंने ना कल सुबह से 7 o'clock उठ के तो exercise करनी है. और फिर कल से तो मैंने चिल्लाना भी नहीं है. And I'm not even going to get angry with the staff. And I'm going to, some of us are continuously making promises to ourselves that we are not keeping, making promises to the world we are not keeping. And our words have no power. When you want to start to become an impactful person, when you want the world to respect you, you know what's the first thing that needs to happen? You need to respect you. And for you to respect you, you need to become a person that your conscious mind can, or rather your subconscious mind can trust. So don't say something if you don't mean it. And if you say it, then stick to it because it changes the relationship you have with yourself. And then the words that you speak, they say, हमारे माउथ में ना सरस्वती बैठती है once a day. I say जो लोग सिर्फ सच बोलते हैं ना उनके माउथ में या उनके टंग पे सारा वक्त सरस्वती बैठती है. Okay? So if you're really interested in becoming impactful, first start to value, because what is impact? Impact is through words. So when your words start to become more and more valuable, then when you speak, transformation happens. Energy exchange happens, not just knowledge. Yeah? Aarti, what do you do when you feel low? Many things, okay? Sometimes I go to the saloon, sometimes I go shopping, sometimes I just sit and cry the whole day. So I have days where I will just sulk it out because I need to remove this emotion. See, I'm not quick at sulking. So when I sulk, I am a PhD even in sulking. And I give myself that permission कि आज मेरा अच्छा वाला दिन नहीं है. आज मैं कुछ नहीं करूँगी. आज मैं बस नाइटी में घूमूंगी और कुछ वीडियोस देखूंगी और कोई गेम्स खेलूंगी फोन पे और वो सब जो मैं नॉर्मली नहीं करती वो सब करूंगी because I just need this whole emotion of lowness to pass. So I have days when I feel horribly low, and I honor my low days just the way I honor my energy. But then I make sure that by the end of the day, I sit down and ask myself, okay, what have I learned from today? What do I need to do differently that this day doesn't get repeated once more? What was the cause or the problem, the source problem of this kind of a day? And then sit down and speak to that person who may have impacted me in creating that low day, or was it me? Is there something I am doing wrong that is causing the issue? So both ways I will analyze, self-reflect, but I don't do it immediately. First I let the low phase to pass, then I start to gather my energy, and then I start to work on it. Then I love writing out, what's the new plan, so that I don't have some more of these kind of days, or at least not for the same reason. Yeah. Nevita, how to deal with others who talk nice in front of you and talk behind your back? Nevita, there are 2-3 things you can do with such people depending on how important they are in your life. So anytime it gets revealed to you that this is not a genuine person, my first suggestion is just step away. Okay? Because I think the best way to deal with such people is to, not be trusting of them anymore. Now that it's got revealed to you that they are not worth your trust, take the trust back. Instead of going on getting hurt again and again and again, just know that this category of people is great to have fun with, but there's no need to have deep conversations with such people, because they are किसी के भी नहीं, वो अपने नहीं हो सके, वो किसी और के क्या होंगे. So what change can you make? Now, if it is a person super close to you, like your closest friend or someone who's very, very dear to you, and you don't want to lose this relationship, then better to confront. Sit and ask them, look, I heard that you said this. Now I know you're not the kind who'll use such language on me, or who'll speak like this. So kuch hua tha kya? Have I heard things out of context? And give them a chance to explain. Sometimes I've noticed, even if someone is wrong, but you catch them, they stop doing it because they don't want to be put in that situation again. They don't want to be confronted again. So that's another way of looking at it. But I always say this, if someone does it to you once, it's okay, because you know what? This is the first time you ever heard that this person was capable of speaking against your back. But if someone does it to you twice, I think it is time for you to realize that you need a new friend, or this relationship is not. So when I come to know that, these people are talking behind my back, then I don't treat them as my real friends. I'm okay with them being in my life as acquaintances, as Saturday night friends, but I wouldn't want to get close to them. Then I start looking for, Godji, please send better people in my life, because I want to be that kind of friend who will stand by her friend whether she's in the room or not, and I want to attract also that level of friendship. So Nevita, one of the things very important is start to become that person who does not speak behind people's back, because we don't realize how hurtful it is, but when we go through it is when we come to know कि जब मैं दूसरे के साथ कर रही थी तो मैंने realize नहीं किया, but जब अपने साथ होता है तो कितना बुरा लगता है, right? So what I'd love for you to do is start to build your personality in a manner where first you stop doing this, and then make sure that the people who are doing it to you, you either confront or cut. Hi Neha, so nice to see you after so long. Sushmita, you are a power booster. Thank you. Malika, I hope you're feeling fine, sweetheart. Followed you on stories and noticed that you weren't too well. Sending you speedy recovery. Aritha55, hello. Revati. Hi ma'am, I was very active for my career growth for some time, and nowadays the graph of too low. Wanna get out of it but not able to. Please help. So Revati, one of the things we as women especially have to understand is that life is seasonal, okay? What do I mean? There will be times in your life where career will be everything. In COVID, you should have seen me those 3 years. Oh my God, I have worked so hard, never before, never after, but those 3 years, because Zoom had suddenly come into being, and it was literally a flight of success for us all coaches, right? And so then after that, life started to open up. And when life started to open up, friendships started to come back, socializing started to come back. So what happens is that there are other parts of your life that have gotten neglected when you've just focused on one thing that you start to fix. And as you fix those, guess what? The one that you had climbed on top of to fix others starts to fall. So once we understand that life is a loop of pretty much going around the same circles again and again and again and again and again and again to build different parts, then you start to understand that, you know what, I don't need to go back in time to repeat who I was or who I had become for that period of time. Maybe for that period of time that was required, something exciting was happening. But yes, you don't want to also pani ferofy on the whole build up that you have done in your career. So look at how can you build enthusiasm? How can you build excitement? Is there anything to get excited about? Because for me at work, there are different phases. There are phase of growth. Now that's the period where you are most involved. Then there is a phase of stability. Okay, this is where you can afford to let it run as it is running. Okay, there will be problems, there will be challenges, but you can keep solving them on a daily basis. And then there is a portion where you come into, which I call making everything autopilot. That means you can literally remove yourself from the scene and yet your machinery will keep working. So I want you to look at these different phases: the phase of escalation or growth, the phase of stability, and the phase of making everything autopilot. That means you're trying to now set systems and create leaderships in your downline so that you are able to do maybe something else or start some new project, or you'll have to see what you'll do with the time that you will end up saving. So look at which part you're in. A lot of times we come into the stable or autopilot part and we start missing the growth part, because growth part has a dopamine impact on you, because every single day, for me, like when I'm creating courses, I'm in my growth energy, okay? That's the time I'm most excited. I'll start waking up at 4 o'clock. I'll start walking around my house. I'll start having creative ideas. I'll start creating the course. I'm in a different energy, different phase in those weeks. Now, all the time I'm not creating. Marketing the courses are 10 times harder than creating the course, right? So that is the portion when you're getting into marketing. It's a completely different energy. Why am I sharing all of this with you, Revati? Because I want you to start to understand that work has so many phases that what you might be calling a low phase is just you missing what you used to love doing in your work, okay? So see how you can bring that back. These days what I do is every now and then, every 3 months, I'll just do a 3-hour new class on a new topic, because I don't want to create a whole course all over again, but I've lost a little bit of excitement. So I'll just do a new session. Like this Saturday, I'm doing a new session, which I'm very excited about. So immediately when I'll do a new session, I'll become happy. I want you to find out for you, what is it that will build back your excitement? You build back the excitement, you don't have to worry about the low. Yeah. _blog, how to control extreme anger issues. So Stylekick, what is anger is a great thing to study. Okay, anger is feedback that something in your life is not in your control. Okay, something in your life is not in your control. So whenever we are getting very upset, very angry, very reactive, that is because we want things, our people, to be a certain way and our expectations are not being matched. Now, there are 2-3 things you can do with anger. One is change your expectations. What do I mean when I say that? Maybe I wanted my husband to come back home every day at 6 o'clock, but every day he's coming home at 7 o'clock. I'm just giving a random example. But if every day I want him to come at 6 and he's coming at 7, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day of having that expectation, by day 5, if I'm not stopping to fight, that means something is wrong with me, because I'm not understanding that life is not going to go according to me only, right? So I'd love for you to start to look at, okay, where in my life do I need to just deeply accept the truth? And the truth is, he's not romantic. The truth is, he doesn't give me money. The truth is, he's not, going to come back on time. The truth is, my children are not going to be eating only healthy. They love their chocolates, and so you know what? They will hide and eat those chocolates. I'm just giving random examples, but just for you to understand, the more you own your truth, the more you'll realize that you can then become a lot more calmer, because when you change your expectations, everything changes. Now, if you can't change your expectations, at least learn to manage your disappointments. What do I mean by manage your disappointments? There are different ways we can react to when someone hasn't acted according to how we would like them to, right? So we have to choose in advance that if this happens, this is how I'll react. If this happens, this is how I'll react. Instead of going in with the best expectation, and then when the expectation doesn't get met, we don't know how to deal with it. It's best to start to look at, okay, my expectation is that he's going to take me out for this very special dinner, but what if he doesn't? Then how am I going to behave? Okay, then can I take the lead? Like, I'll tell you something that used to happen every birthday of mine, okay? Every birthday of mine, I would have land up having a fight with Puneet because my expectation used to be here. कि ये लंच पे भी लेके जाएगा, ज्वेलरी भी लेके देगा, डिनर पे भी लेके जाएगा, फूल भी देगा, कार्ड भी देगा, पता नहीं. I clearly am a very demanding wife, as I say. But you know what? When half of the things wouldn't happen, or he wouldn't even care to see that it was my birthday, or he even forgot to, let's say, wish me, then I would get severely hurt. Now, 2-3 years in the marriage, you can feel severely hurt. But if for 20 years you're feeling really hurt, that means you don't know how to manage your problem, correct? So then what do? I decide my own birthday. Now I tell Puneet a day in advance. यहाँ से फूल ऑर्डर करना, मेरे को लीला में चेक इन करना है, यहाँ पे हम एक्सो में डिनर खाएंगे, ये वाला मेरे को गिफ्ट चाहिए, एंड यू नो व्हाट, आप बस इसको बस मैनेज कर लो, आई विल बी अ वेरी हैप्पी पर्सन. वो भी खुश, मैं भी खुश, राइट? सो what am I doing? I'm managing that before I get upset, angry, disappointed, or my expectations are not met. I want to know in advance how I want to behave so that I can change that situation. So if you're getting angry at anything, for first time you're allowed, because you did not know what to expect, so you've suddenly gotten hit with a thing that you weren't prepared for. But if you're getting upset, and which is the truth is we get upset about the same thing, the same pattern runs again and again and again and again, right? We're getting upset with our children for not studying. We're getting upset with our same thing, with our staff for not bringing that particular tray when we ask for tea. We are getting upset. That means you're not spending enough time to train or manage your expectations. So start to focus on, okay, what was my expectation? What can I do? Can I deeply accept? Can I confront? Can I speak to them? Can I change them? Can I change myself? If you're fighting over the same thing, then you haven't taken responsibility. For me, I'd look at yellow flags, yellow flag, yellow flag, red flag. So 3 chances to anybody, after which I don't want to depend on them for my happiness. I will do it myself. बेबी मेरे को यहाँ ले जाओ, बेबी मेरे को यहाँ ले जाओ, बेबी मेरे को यहाँ ले जाओ, बेबी नहीं लेके गया, no problem, अब मैं खुद चले जाऊंगी. At some point you have to take that energy back, and when you take that energy back, all of these anger issues will start to settle, because you start to get more and more independent, and as you get more and more independent, then that expectation is not there. When that expectation is not there, the anger doesn't rule you. Yeah, of course, I mean, for all of you here, there are so many tips and techniques to handle anger. One is to count 10 backwards. One is to explain anger, not express anger. That means you talk about your anger, you don't show your anger. One is to do deep breathing. One is to just go lock yourself in the bathroom, cry it out, come back outside, and when you're calmer, get back into that discussion. So many ways of how you can deal with your anger. Look at my suggestion, try each one. The one beautiful thing I'll tell you about once you start to learn to manage your anger is you start to feel so proud of yourself. You know, there are days when I just come into the room and I say, Puja, well done, you didn't give in to the chaos. And you know, and you start to like yourself a little more. So remember, that's also a lovely feeling. Now, will it happen or instantly? Absolutely not. You see, your reflex right now is so loose. वो इतनी जल्दी बाहर आ जाता है that to hold it, it's like taming an animal. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort. So a lot of times I do this with Puneet, where I will be like, baby, मैंने आपको कितनी बार बोला है कि जब आप घर आते हो तो जूते बाहर ही उतार दिया करो, sweetheart. So if in the beginning you go through all of this, it's absolutely okay. You are still in the gap of learning to manage your anger. Yeah. Saubana Puja, these days I felt so neutral. Not so much excited like I used to be earlier for my life coaching work and other things as well. Missing my high vibrations for the last 1 year. I think a lot of you here are speaking about what has happened post the pandemic. Post the pandemic, there is a certain energy in the world which is of neutrality. That enthusiasm for life, that excitement for life has come down. So it is not just you, this is, I think, the energy of the world. So to actually outbeat that energy, you have to know what in your life is going to make you excited. What in your life will want to wake you up every morning? What is it that you're going to be doing, you know? Like for me, I have a list of things that I like to look forward to. So for every one of you here who's complaining about, but I'm not feeling excited, but I'm feeling numb to everything, you need to break the pattern. You need to bring back that joy. You need to change your vocabulary. See if you can start to express more happiness and joy on the smaller things of life. I like to go into deep gratitude whenever I start to feel like I'm numbing in life. You know, after a while, even the exciting things, when you do them again and again and again and again, they start to lose the excitement. Earlier on, when Puneet and I used to go to Maldives, we used to love it. Every trip was so special. And the last trip to Maldives was like, blah. And then I said, Puneet, maybe we need to change the way we are doing holidays, sweetheart. This worked up until now. Now I think we need activity in our holidays. So we are changing the whole thing around. Now we're going to experiment with maybe doing a trip like a hiking or camping or, you know, a train ride across Europe. Something which will be totally different, and see if that gives us the joy that earlier on Maldives used to give us, right? So like that, I think it's so important to keep reinventing your excitement list, because after a while, if you eat biryani every day, after a while even biryani will become boring. True or not? I think for a lot of us, we've been doing the same thing again and again, and we are not reinventing ourselves. So the word for this month for all of you is going to be reinventing. You need to reinvent parts of you. You need to start to do things differently so that you can bring back that lost excitement or enthusiasm. You need to take responsibility for feeling low. Like, it's not something that's happening to you, but it is something that you can control and change. So the minute you own that you know what, okay, even if it's happening to me, I can control it, I can change it. Puja said, just make a list of things I love to do and start ticking, going one by one by one by one. Okay, so we need to build back that enthusiasm. Okay. Where can we find the details of the Saturday course? Oh, unfortunately, the Saturday course is just for my internal tribe, people who are already a part of my enlightenment program. It is not open to public, unfortunately. But whenever next time enlightenment is getting sold, I will speak about it, and then you can come and join me and come for all of the sessions. Sakshi Mittal, what to do when husband vents out his frustration using bad language? You know what, Sakshi, I think it is important that you communicate and see if he's listening. If he's not listening, allow him. What do I mean by allow him? You need to start to build a, what do you call it, barrier or a protection wall for yourself, that when he goes into his venting mode, when he goes into his frustration mode, when he uses his bad language, I don't want to hand over the remote of my life into his hands, where he will be able to control my mood because he's upset. So he's upset, he's hurting, now he's going to hurt me, I am hurting, now I'm going to hurt the children or the staff, and then everything goes wrong because of that, right? So how can you become the stopper of that crazy behavior? So you need to come up with a plan where you can, you know, like I remember at one point, whenever I used to be around anybody toxic, I would just blink and imagine white light ka fountain surrounding me, where anything that person is saying, it can't reach me. Okay, so I'm fully and divinely protected, and I will sit there with that little gentle smile on my face, where I know that I'm having the boomerang effect, that nothing is going in, everything that is being said is going back, is going back, is going back. And so, you know what, then my reaction is not, if somebody is not been able to pierce through and wound me, then my reaction is, ho gaya? Do you feel lighter now that you have removed it? And instead of being angry with the person who's angry, what if for a change we actually, hold space for this person that, look, they are going through their own mess. Let me see if I can assist them or help them, because it's not personal. When we don't take things personally, we do such a big favor to the relationship that we are in. So many times I tell Puneet that the best thing about you is your ability to absorb my, negative charge sometimes. So when you can start to absorb the spouse's negative charge, there are days he will be in a bad mood, there are days I will be in a bad mood. Now on bad mood days, when he or I are spitting, instead of putting gas or fire or petrol on it, what if you started to pour the water? And you don't need to do anything but to just retreat and say, you know what, his bad mood, he's not going to win by making it my bad mood. Okay, I'm not going to allow that. Let this pass. Once he's a little more settled, then I will speak to him. Okay, and then you just give that person the space to pass. You don't say calm down, you don't say anything, you just allow for that entire thing. You know what, eventually it all passes. And when you react soberly to a situation where you could have easily aggravated it, so many times I have seen the spouse actually coming back to apologize for that behavior because we didn't contribute to it. So I think that's one of the ways you can try dealing with it. Not easy at all, but stop taking the bad language personally. When someone is hurting, their only aim is to pass the hurt. They are hurting so badly that they need you to hurt at the same level. And so bad language is one of the easiest ways to make someone hurt at the same level as you are hurting. Okay? Once you know that, now you just start to go, sorry, my water fountain is going to protect me. You can say what you like. वो तीर आएगा, have you seen Ramayan? उसमें वो राम जी and Ravan will be fighting and वो तीर ऐसे छोड़ेंगे और वो जाके फूलों की garland बनके, तो it will be around Ram ji's neck. तीर तो एकदम nokila and poisonous tha, but when it landed on Ramji, it be turned into a garland. See if you can, when somebody says anything bad language used on you, see if you're in your head, you can just turn it around as, sorry, I don't allow such language on me. So every time you're saying the word dash, I'm imagining you're saying the word dash. And I give it such a positive twist that, it's not, you're not able to hurt me. Yeah? Preeti, hi Puja, lovely to see you. I want to do my best in my career. By right now, conceiving is becoming my priority. I'm really confused. Is it okay to focus on the baby now? So Preeti, this is a question I'm getting very, very often these days, where women are in a, confused state of not knowing to prioritize their career that they have spent so many years into building to the level that it's built, or to become a mother. Because the sacrifice of a mother to give up her career or in some form, not have the kind of focus and to start your family, to start having a baby, is a huge decision. And currently, because the world doesn't appreciate mothers and it appreciates working women a lot more, a lot of us are having second thoughts around, is it even worth it? Is having a baby even worth it? And I think we need to build a new world where women need to start to at least tell women that, you know what, the biggest gift a woman has gotten from God is the fact that she can become a mother. And I think being a mother is so beautiful, a journey. That's when you really become an adult. I think only when you become a parent do you truly become an adult. Do you truly know what really love means, And so I'm a big advocate of, if everything in your surrounding is right, your man is right, your life is right, and your option is between career and mother, then for 5 years of your life, be a beautiful mother till the child starts to go to school, and then go back to focusing on career, because very soon, 5-7 years down the line, you will feel that missing of the identity that you have. Yeah? So it all depends on, in your environment, are women being encouraged to be mothers. You know, right now in the world, a lot of women are choosing not to be. In Korea, they say there is something called the 3 no's. No dating, no marriage, no becoming mother. No children. I'm like, oh my God, if women start to become man, then where will man go? Correct or no? So I think that we have to keep this gift of the femininity, the gift of becoming mothers. So I'm going to encourage everyone here that, you know what, get your life right enough to be able to, for 5-7 years, be an amazing mother. The fulfillment of that, the joy of producing another life and raising it is mind-blowing when you do it with your right mindset. Now, if your environment, your spouse, your there is no appreciation, then that's a decision also for you to take that, you know what, Puja, in my environment, I am going to be a mother who is not going to get any help, any support, any appreciation for doing all of this. So I am going to have to see, is it even worth it for me? So that's a decision that a lot of people are getting confused with, but I do in my heart believe and encourage women to be mothers. I think that, you know what, in the world that we live, so many women right now are struggling to be a mom. So if you have an option to choose to do that, I'm going to encourage it, because I want me and my entire tribe to start to speak the language of positioning the mother as the most giving human being on the planet, as the most divine on the planet. You know why? Because there's nobody who sacrifices more than her. There is nobody who can give more than her. And I think over the years, we have lost respect for this pedestal or darja that a mother used to be given earlier. अब उनको हम वो देते नहीं है, इसलिए no woman wants to be. हमारे को तो काम पे इतनी अप्रिसिएशन मिल जाती है, माँ बन के क्या करना है वहां पे, तो बल्कि लोग बोलते हैं ओ घर में बैठी हो, बस बच्चे ही पाल रहे हो, ओ अच्छा, there's no identity to a mother. I hope we as women start to become proud. And you know what, when you say mother, it should be a complete sentence. You shouldn't have to explain that I'm just a mother. No, that I'm a mother should be like, oh my God, I'm better than any working woman, I'm better than any, I'm the best. That's the connection we have to start to make with this word mother. So I know I've gone off on some other tangent, only Preeti. Yeah, the decision is totally yours to make, but I'm so passionate about putting the mother back in society on the top of the pedestal or on top of the pyramid. Sushmita, how to bring back the spark in a husband-wife relationship? Like I said, you have to keep on reinventing the relationship by looking for what are those common threads, that you can do together. So I think Jay Shetty speaks about this, where he says entertainment is one of the ways how couples these days are spending a lot of time, where they commonly watch a TV serial, they watch Netflix, or they go for a movie. So all of that is a very low level relationship. Then after that, he keeps talking about how we can build by having, common interests. So let's say you and I sit and play cards, we play Monopoly, we start to do some activity together. That's a lovely way. We get a little more engaging. And then we get into self-reflection, that together we ask each other questions and communicate about things that we rarely speak about outside. So we go into each other's mindset and study each other's personality. So even beyond engaging on shared interests, it is about speaking the language of love to each other, where you're deeply understanding by seeing and listening to the person you love. Okay, so that's another way of, and then for me, the ultimate journey of a couple is when both go into self-growth together. So when you set your goals together, when you start to set your life together, when you start to speak about, building each other up, when you start to become each other's biggest cheerleader, even when you are walking parallelly, you're holding hands and walking. And so the path is the same and yet different. So I feel like that is the ultimate, when you can build your complete self with the support of the other. So I'd heard this sentence which was like, the biggest reason for breakdowns in relationships today is because me has become over us. So I think when the us becomes over me, that's when you're in the ultimate phase of the marriage. So you have to just see like what are the things you can do to bring back that spark. Can you guys travel together? It'll have to be, Tony Robbins always speaks about that you have to bring in adventure. There has to be predictability for stability, and then there has to be unpredictability for spark. So if everything is too predictable in your relationship, if every day you kiss at the same moment, are together at the same moment, love at the same moment, say I love you at the same moment, all of those will lose meaning eventually. So you need to bring in a little bit of unpredictability. So my suggestion, every week, one person in this couple should take up the responsibility of doing something unpredictable in the relationship, to do or try something new in the relationship. It may work, it may not work, but at least it will bring in excitement. So each week, one person is in charge of something new. Something new that they would bring into the relationship. I don't know if you've seen Zindagi Na Mile Dobara. It's the three friends that meet and they do these different adventures. Like that, it could be 1 week, it could be just you taking someone on a long drive. These things don't even need to include money in them. They could be just the sweet things of unpredictability. It could just be, putting flowers from the time someone enters till the bed. So it could be cooking someone's favorite dish and surprising them, or making something at home that you've never made before. So it could be anything. The thing is there unpredictability in the relationship? Otherwise, boredom is bound to get set. The opposite of a loving relationship is not a hateful relationship or a fighting relationship. The opposite of a loving relationship is a bored relationship. Karuna 864. How did you improve your English, ma'am? So Karuna, I read a lot of books. I actually spend a lot of time learning my topics, my concepts, So I do, I'm actually very good at explaining my concepts, but my English, if you had to generally hear me speak, is nothing great. And I don't know if I've really been able to improve it. I see my son making a lot of effort into becoming a lot more articulate. So he likes to look up words and then use new words. One word a week you can add to your vocabulary, and that can start to improve your English. You can join some sort of a course which can help you improve your English. Just starting to use idioms, I feel like anybody who uses idioms has a deeper understanding of the language versus someone who just speaks fluently, or plainly. So just starting to use a lot more idioms. Idioms are, muhavre. So when you use those, then that shows that you have a deeper understanding. So like that, you can just start to make the effort. My suggestion, work on what you are saying more than the language being used. Because I'm a big believer that language was used for communication, not for impressing. And right now, I feel like too many of us are using the English language to impress rather than to communicate. Liliana, Puja ma'am, the hostel and school is not up to my expectation. I feel so drained. People don't resonate with me. Didn't like the atmosphere here. Not in my ideal place. Parents told they'll change. Waiting when. So Liliana, till it's not happening, make the most of it and keep speaking to your parents to see how you are able to convince them to change. Clearly, you are not in a place that you're liking. So I remember for me to go to the hostel that I wanted to, for my parents to know how keen I was, I kept a Shivratri fast. Otherwise, till then, they were not listening. So I directly started to speak to God. And as they watched me speak to God, they realized she's super serious and put me in that school. So sometimes, Liliana, our parents also don't take us seriously till we don't do things where they feel the impact of, oh, she's serious. Okay? When is your birthday, Puja ma'am? When is your birthday, Puja? My birthday is on 7th of May. So, in the month of May. Yes, I'm a Taurian. Just reading all the comments. How to get energetic at 40? Disha, you're making 40 look like as if it's a very old age. Today, 40 is just mid-age, okay? You still have another 40 years to go when you're at 40, so you're nowhere close to being old. I think energy does not come from age. Energy comes from the fact that you have a life that is exciting you or not. So learning to build a life that is exciting will automatically bring in energy. Advi Sonia 555. Ma'am, my brother does most of the wonderful things for my bhabhi, but my husband doesn't do the same for me, so I feel very angry on him. How to help myself here? So Sonia, I think one of the biggest mistakes we make in our relationship is this constant comparison that we put our relationship through. So I would love for you, Sonia, to sit down with your husband and create what can be created between the both of you. Otherwise, you're going to keep on looking at your brother and keep feeling jealous of them. Now, remember, your brother and bhabhi will have their own equation, but their own problems also. Okay? It's not necessary that your bhabhi is appreciating what your brother is doing for her, because she could be wanting something entirely different. True or not, I'd love for you to go back and check that. And so therefore, you have to stop looking at people lesser than you, better than you, and you need to create a relationship with your husband through communication. So I a lot of times get into this thing about, oh, they've gone on a holiday here, see how much time they are spending with each other, or things like that. And I know that I'm building myself up for disaster, because I don't know the problems in their relationship, but all the good things I'm taking out and throwing at my husband, right? So I think it's very, very important that you start to look at what is it you want from your husband, what are the things that matter to you, and what is it he wants from you, and make a list of I wouldn't say shared, but I would say make a list of what is his expectation of you, what is your expectation of him. And then start to look at how you can marry them. Now, some men are willing to work on the relationship, some men are not. The men who are not willing to work on the relationship, I always suggest to the woman, that means it's time for you to go on your own growth journey on a separate path. Doesn't mean you need to leave him, but you have to change your expectation, realizing that a lot of men right now are stuck in between patriarchy and being a good man. So because their mothers did not teach them to be good husbands, the chances are that they have no idea how to be available to you. And therefore, if in communication they become available, that is fabulous. If not, I remember for a period of time in my marriage, I realized that, what all I'm looking for, I don't know if my husband is even capable of giving it to me. So better I go and build who I am. I started to go for courses to America. I started to focus on my internal growth journey, and I can tell you it gave me a lot of peace, because otherwise I was all the time looking at him, waiting for him to support me, waiting for him to love me, waiting for him to give me the happiness that I know I deserved, but I didn't know how to get out of him. So I feel like a lot of times we get stuck in that Chakravyuh. So my suggestion, don't compare, and start your journey of self-growth in case you feel like isne to nahi badalna. And you know what? Within the first 2, 3, 4, 5 years of your marriage, you should figure out, is he capable also of giving me what I'm asking him? Or is it going to be my entire life I'm going to be just begging? Because at some point, I don't want us women to remain beggars. I want us to, find our own identity and live our life on our own terms by building who we are. That's why I say that 700 days of self-focus changes everything. And one of the things I've seen is the day I started to love me, respect me, focus on me, I started to see him change also. Oh, lovely Divya Jain. Very, very happy birthday to you, sweetheart. All right, I had made a promise that I'm also going to take one question from my Instagram post. So I'm just going to look at the first question and answer that. And that person will also get a book of mine along with the ones who land up taking a picture and sharing it with your biggest takeaway. So let me look for a question. Starlet Shruti is asking, ma'am, how do I stop feeling so anxious, disappointed, scared when things don't go my way? I think it's very important to understand that in life there are parts that you control and there are parts that you have to surrender to God for Him to make life happen for you. There are times when we start to want to control even the part that God has control over, and that's when we actually feel anxious about our future. Anxiety to me is just another way of trying to control something that's not in your control. So if you are someone like that, my suggestion, start to build a lot more faith in your life that everything that's happening is going to happen for the good. That all of this is going to, somebody asked me the other day, Puja, if you had to give advice to your younger self, what would you say? And I would say that, all of this that you are going through, it's all going to work out, Puja. I think that's one of the most beautiful things that you can tell yourself. It's all going to work out. So when you start to get anxious and you start to get depleted and desperate and frustrated, I want you to just sit in your energy and just look up at God and say, God, help me, support me. I've done my bit, now you do yours. And then trust God that whatever He does is in your favor. When we start to look at life's challenges as if they're happening for us, not against us, our entire energy and concept or perception or paradigm shifts completely. Okay, so I'd love for you to just start to experiment, if you can, with, okay, this is my portion, this is God's portion. So let's say my son is studying for an exam. Studying for the exam is his portion. What questions will come and will he be able to answer them at his best? That is God's portion. So there's a part that you pray and there's a part that you do. And that doing and being, the combination is what actually helps you manifest life. So you make choices and then you have to face the consequences. And most of us, when the consequences are not according to us or the opposite of what we were expecting, we start to give up hope on life and we start to get anxious and angry and upset. While the truth is, maybe God is not punishing you, He's actually preparing you. Maybe all He wants is He's supporting and helping you to become the person He sees or visualizes you to be. Had I not gotten married at 18, I wouldn't have ever become a life coach. So God had a much better plan for me than I had for myself. BCom karke kya mil jata? True or not? Iske bahane to, because I remained thirsty for knowledge, thirsty to go to college, thirsty for becoming a graduate, so I studied, right? So sometimes when God is doing something wrong in our life, we think it is wrong, while actually the truth is, in a couple of years, you might just think, oh my God, that was the best thing that happened to me. True or not? Kitni baar to ho chuka hai ye, hai na? So for everyone here who's an overthinker, who's anxious, my only one suggestion, start to build a deeper relationship with your universal energy, with that force that you believe is there to protect you, to guide you, the divine. So whatever that relationship is, as you build that, the more you trust your divine, the more trustworthy your divine becomes. Okay? So a time will come where you'll just start to, you'll be able to return back to your peace and calm so easily. Because you know कि यार मेरा भगवान सब देख रहा है और वो मेरे साथ अच्छा ही करेगा. And when that becomes your belief system or your foundation pillar on which you sit and operate in life, I can't begin to tell you how much peace you operate from. Thank you so much for everyone who came. Take a picture. All you need to do is share it in your stories. Put what was your biggest takeaway. I will not be sharing all of them in my stories, but we will be acknowledging you in my chat box below. Okay? And Starlet Shruti, for you will please expect to get a copy of my book, Unlocking the Golden Cage. We will write to you. Okay? All right, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care. Have a fabulous week ahead. Loads and loads of love.